Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Hal Roden. I'm your host, and this is Roden's Rant, and this is opening day. Opening night was last night. The Astros took care of business against the Texas Rangers, newly acquired into the AL West, gets one of their maybe 60 wins this year. But Norris looked like Chuck Norris last night, sticking it to the Rangers. Welcome to this edition of 2013 East End Baseball League. Couldn't be happier for the season to be here. A lot of hopeful owners, obviously very hopeful owners for the upcoming season. What I'm going to do is go blow by blow, give a little bit of our power rankings, getting the teams, breaking them down, seeing what we got. Nobody take it personally. Again, no matter what I say, it matters what you do. Okay, so what you do as an owner, what you put into it is what you get out of it. If you put nothing into it, Haku's, that's been your case the last couple of years. Looks like this year might be different. Okay, I've got you moving up on the power rankings. Hopefully that changes. For you guys who do nothing, you should expect nothing. Okay, my friend Andy, you keep trading offense to get more offense. Unless you get some pitching, you're not going to be able to make that climb. You'll finish hopefully in the money, and we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, okay, here we are. It's 2013. This is the East End Baseball League, and there's been a lot that's gone on, or should I say there really has been a lot that's gone on. There's been no trades. We drafted early. We are looking to get the season started off on the right note. And let me tell you something. I'm a little bit disappointed. There's been no activity at all since the draft. What was the purpose of drafting? It seems like back in January. Here we are. It's opening day. I don't think there was really one significant trade made. I know there was a late deadline deal made yesterday with Mr. Mark Albina and Brett Goldblack. The Grandy man got traded, and he has a new address. And as soon as he heals up, he'll be playing for Brett. And this is a new season. Here we are. Okay, we're ready to go. We're ready to get things going. Ready to first pitch. Ready to get ourselves into a groove. I'm going to go over all the power rankings. I'm going to get everybody in order. I'm going to let everybody know exactly where we stand. Now, one thing I do want to address is if you're going to make a trade offer to somebody, okay, and Andy, you know who you are. You know who I'm talking to. In fact, I just said your name, so we all know who you're talking to. You want to make a pitch. You want to make a move to get a top-tier player. Don't come with a horseshit offer. I came into my inbox. I have to address it because it was asked to be addressed on the show. Okay, don't offer Tulo and Pence for a guy like Clayton Kershaw. I mean, really? 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 Come on, Andy. You know that's not getting it done. You can't make that offer. It's disgusting. If you make an offer like that, you should expect to get called out on Rovner's Rant. If I make a bad offer, I want to be told I'm making a bad offer on Rovner's Rant. I'll call myself out on it. That's a bad offer. That's a really bad offer. Okay? Other than that, I haven't had any other issues. We tried to get Kachuba on the show to solve an issue from a few years ago when he was secretly voted out of the league. I also wanted to try and get Mr. Rooney on the phone to welcome him to the league as a new owner. Didn't have any success there. And I did reach out to Haku's not once but twice, left him messages, and that was probably about a month ago. I'm still waiting to hear back from him. I don't know what chances are that's going to happen. Is anyone else that is waiting to get back from certain people? Are there owners in the league that just don't return your calls? You let me know. We're going to address it on Roden's Rant. Okay? Now let's get on to the 2013 season, the power rankings. Okay, I'm going to go over who I have finishing where and why. Okay, I'll start from the bottom up, and I'll give my analysis. And listen, again, just my opinion. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them. So you can take it for what it's worth. Okay, I'm going to give a quick breakdown so this way we can kind of get things rolling. Okay, finishing in 10th place. Okay, 10-team league. I do have our new owner time to make the babies for a couple of reasons. Okay, don't know him that well yet. I've heard that a few people try to reach out to him, haven't been able to hear anything back. So if you're not going to be active in this league, you're doomed to finish last. And when I look at your team, one catcher very good, Montero, Brandon Belt at first, Teixeira obviously hurt, that knocks you down a little bit. Neil Walker solid at second, Moustakas okay, Hardy okay, Ackley okay, Freeman okay. Could eventually be better. Nothing that really jumps out at you there. Outfielder Desmond Jennings, who I like, great draft pick. Told you I liked it in the draft. Davis, if Chu can lay off the sauce, you'd be all right. Bruce and Aoki. Nothing really stands out. And Adam Dunn. You got a lot of low average guys. You got some power guys, not a lot of speed guys, some speed guys, but nothing consistent. And that kind of bodes well. The same thing with your pitching staff's a little bit better. Okay, let's see how it shakes out. You got Scherzer, like him. You should dominate in the strikeout category between Scherzer, between Harvey, between Wainwright, and between Darvish. I like those four pitchers. All right, let's see what happens with Harvey, with the growing pains with the Mets. Again, Mets hopefully win a game. We're in first place today if we win. So look, you got a lot of question marks there. You got some young pitchers with Darvish. How's he bounced back after last year? You have Scherzer, who had a great year last year. Let's see if he can do it again. And Kuroda with that, and he'll pitch well, but how many games will he win for the Yankees with all those injuries they have? So I got you finishing 10th, and again, don't take it for what it is. It's just my opinion. Okay? Stunners, I got you finishing ninth. Sorry, Sep. I like you. You know I like you. I think you know you have a rebuilding year. I think you know that you have some work to do. If I'm you, I'm doing what Tony did last year. Okay, well, actually 2 years ago, what Tony did. Okay, which is just spending the year building, picking up guys, or minor leaguers, paying attention to those guys, picking up draft picks, and looking future. All right, you have some nice pieces with Molina and Victor Martinez, which you get to put in the catcher. Ike Davis, who I like. Brandon Phillips, who I like. Carpenter Young, we'll see what happens. You got hurt with the Headley injury. You got Rutledge, another young player, should do well, but we'll see what happens. You got Utley, another question mark. Could he return to form? We don't know. You got Kendrys Morales again. And except this ninth could easily jump to sixth because there's a lot of guys who I'm talking that were question marks who they perform well like they've done in years past, like Utley, like Morales, okay, like Victor Martinez. These guys come back off injury, you're going to be in much better shape than expected. Your outfield is Markakis, another guy with some questions, Beltran with a fractured pinky, Melky Cabrera, who, coming off the juice, Alex Gordon, who we like, Alex Rios, could he repeat last year? So again, some question marks, but they could always change. If those guys perform to what their playing capabilities are, you could easily go from ninth to sixth in the power rankings. And the power rankings will change week to week, as you'll see through Rovner's Ring. Dominic Brown, good young player, Philadelphia, who I think is going to have a very good year. I do like him, so we will talk about Dominic Brown. But here's the problem, pitching. Halliday's obviously had a rough spring, velocity's down, and, some people, there have been whispers that maybe he's hiding an injury. We'll have to see. Brandon Lee, who I don't even think is closing. You got Lance Lynn. See what happens with him. R.A. Dickey making the move from the National League to the American League East. Okay, we'll see what happens with him. Marco Estrada, who pitched from Milwaukee, is okay. Peavy, see if Peavy can bounce up from last year. Jared Weaver, good pitcher, no strikeouts. Axford, who you have closing, and Santana, who just got hurt. So, again, a lot of guys, depending on what moves you make, Seth, and I know you're going to be active because you always are. All right, depending on the moves, depending on some players' performing to their capabilities, that ninth could turn to sixth, and we'll see what happens. Okay, going up, I got Mullets in 8. Okay, and I'll explain to you why I got you in 8. Okay, your lack of pitching. Okay, your lack of pitching is what's really hurting you here. You got Jason Avila at catcher, Goldschmidt at first base. So I like Kipnis, who had a disappointing second half. If he can have put together the first half from last year again and be consistent, you got a stud in the making. You got Ramirez, Rollins, who's consistent as can be. Desmond, who I think will do it again. A lot of people are down on him. You got Euclid, who, that Yankee lineup, I just don't know who he's knocking in. I mean, everybody's hurt in that lineup. It's a disaster over there. In your outfield, you get Bautista coming back off injury, Bonifacio with some bags, Prado does a little bit of everything, Aaron Hicks, young player, let's see how he does in his call-up in Minnesota. He'll be in a good lineup, hitting with Morneau, hitting in front of Morneau and Mauer. You got Stanton, he's got nobody to knock in. I mean, that lineup is just god-awful. I didn't think it was possible to have a lineup that was worse than the Mets. You got Granderson, you have to wait for him to come back now. You got Kadai at your DH, but like I said, again, the problem, pitching, you got Fister, who's okay, he's not bad. You got Chris Sale, who could be very good. You got Nice, who's a solid 5. You got Herron, see what happens if he bounces back. You got Morrow, again, question marks up and down. Cueto, Romo, you name it. I mean, just question marks. But you will be active. So, again, based upon activity and what you do to make your team better, that could always get you up into the mix. All right. Now, the biggest jump I've got making in the power rankings, going from last year, okay, to this year, is Hakus. Because, and like I said, a lot of it's built on pitching. Pitching wins pennants, all right? Pitching also wins fantasy baseball leagues. You're not winning this league because you're just not going to be active. At least I don't believe so. But you do have good pitching. So if you can take some of that pitching, parlay it into some offense and build, you're going to have a pretty good team that could be in the mix, all right? We'll start from the pitching first with you because that's what I've discussed. Lester, who I think will have a very good bounce back year. He's actually starting today, and I think the Red Sox win that game and beat CC Sabathia in Yankee Stadium. You got Felix, who I love. That was a great trade for you, all-season trade. You have Vogelsong, who I love. You have Buck Holtz, who I think will be much improved under John Farrell. You get Chapman going back to a closer role, which he's more valuable there than he was as a starter. You got Agondo, who everybody seems to forget about, who I think could be very good. You got Sabathia pitching against Lester today, who I think Sabathia loses. He pitches well, but I think the Yankees lose today. You got Hammerhand. Again, hence Hammerhand jobs. So actually, I'm looking here on the team site, and it looks like you changed it back to have Kuz on the roster grid. So I hope you change it back to Hammerhand jobs because I do like that name. Nonetheless, the pitching is very good. I think the pitching will do very well for you. It depends what you do to change the pitching and turn to some offense. At catcher, you got Arencibia and Napoli. Again, I addressed Napoli. I don't think Napoli is, with our arthritic hip. They said he has Bo Jackson's hip, actually. Somebody told me he has Bo's hip. So Bo would probably like it back. You got Votto at first base, who I like. You got Altuve, who I like. Just you picked him early. You got Sandoval at third. Okay. You got Andrus at short. Ton of bags. Score some runs. But that's it. That's where it ends. Just got a nice big contract for that too. So Ozzie Smith is probably rolling around saying, "What the hell do I have to do to get that kind of deal?" Escobar, you have not a big fan. Sega, In your outfield, Gomez, Gonzalez, Crawford, Reddick, Suzuki. That's where the question marks lie. If you could turn some of that, and if Will Myers comes up for you, that'll be a big pickup as well. Will Myers if he gets called up, he's going to be a beast for Tampa Bay. And you got Ryan Howard at DH. So your offense is not great. It's okay. If you could turn some of that pitching into some offense and pay attention and make some moves, you're going to be in good shape. All right. I got at sixth place, I got Jammer. Okay. And the reason I got Jammer, and again, I like Barry. I know, and I could tell, and I've been doing this for years. Okay. Barry took a little hiatus for a little bit, but he's back. He's back. And not only that is he back, but the old Barry's back. Barry's active. When Barry's active, Barry's swinging deals all over. Just don't try and pull the wool over my eyes, all right, Barry? Because we know that that's what you like to do, all right? We'll have a bunch of conversations this year, you and I. But you know what? I like what you're already trying to do. Okay, I like the fact you're active. You got Soto Lamacchia and Montero, a catcher, who I like. You got Pools at first. How do you not like him? Ugla, good power source at second. You got Middlebrooks, who I think is an up-and-coming superstar for Boston. You got Zobrist. You got Andrelton Simmons, who I think is going to be much better than everybody expects him to be. Everybody expects him to be a good glove. I think he'll also be a good bat in that Braves lineup. He'll score a ton of runs at the top of that lineup, hitting behind Freeman and Hayward and the Upton brothers. Anthony Rizzo, who started making his ascent to the top last year. And in the outfield, you have a player who, if he stays healthy, could be one of the better players in the American League this year with Lorenzo Cain. The question with him is if he's healthy. Mike Morse, who's clubbed 9 home runs in spring training. Let's see if that translates into a regular season. You got Trumbo, you got Ellsbury, and you got Gardner. So you got some good power, some good speed. And you got Billy Butler at your utility. So you got a good balanced offense, right? But the pitching, I like the pitching. I don't love the pitching. Cliff Lee, big question mark coming back. Mike Minor. If Mike Minor does what everybody says he's going to do, then that's a good find. Brett Anderson, who, how do you not like an Oakland pitcher? You got Hamill, who should have a good year in Baltimore. That team's going to win some games. C.J. Wilson, let's see how he returns from off-season surgery. You got Matt Latos, who is very good, and he's a study of staff. And your bullpen looks pretty good with Rodney and Wilhelmsen. Okay, and you got guys on deal. So I think you'll be a sixth-place team for now. That could change, and I really think it could change. You could make a push to get into the top 4 because you're going to be active. Okay, so we'll talk and we'll get going there. So we go from 6 to 5. Okay, and at 5, I just like my boy Overcam. Another guy who's active, another guy who likes to build, another guy who I think can make a late push. And the knock on Overcam has always been, what's your game plan? Well, that's a question. What's your game plan? What is it going to be? You got to have a plan. If you have a plan, Larry, you're going to have a good team. Okay, I like your catchers, Lucroy and Dumit. I like Konerko first, Aaron Hill at second. Third base is a problem for you right now with Freese being hurt. Shortstop's a problem for you right now with Jeter going down. I think Nunez will fill in for the short term. Hopefully, Jeter's not out long term for you because that could be a problem because the middle's very thin. You got Kinsler at the middle, who I like him. I don't love him, but he's still better than a lot of what's out there. You got Beltre at corner, who's a stud. Your outfield, I love Kemp. Victorino, who I think will be very good. You got Fowler. He is what he is. He's a fifth outfield. You got Trout, who's one of the best players in baseball. You got Willingham, who's one of the most underrated players in baseball. You got Jason Worth, the utility, who I'm not a big fan of. Pitching-wise, you got a lot of upside with Shelby Miller. Your starting pitcher with Gallardo, who I like. If he can bring that ERA down, that team can win a few more ball games for him. You got Ian Kennedy, who I like. I think he'll have a better year this year. I think he'll be more like what he did 2 years ago. You got Josh Johnson, I like. You got James Shields, who I like. You got Lincecum, who I like. Okay, Lincecum, I think he's primed for a bounce-back season. And your bullpen's good. So I think with the right moves, right now, you're a fifth-place team, and you're looking to crack the top four, maybe give Andy a run, and some of those other teams ahead of you a run. And speaking of Andy, let's jump right to goaltending. I'm going to say right before I get started, okay, the best offense out of any team in the league. And he traded Trout. So he's got the best offense, top to bottom. No knock against anyone else in the league. Best offense, top to bottom. And that's after he traded Trout. So the offense is sick. Offense is ridiculous. Here's the problem, Andy. Here's why you're 4, and I don't see you as a legitimate shot to finish 1 or 2. You got no pitching. I'll read the offense off and stop me when it gets overly disgusting, because it is. Santana and Brantley catcher, Fielder at first, Pedroia at second, Longoria at third, Reyes at short, Tulo at short, Hanley on the IR, Miguel Cabrera, BJ Upton, Diasa fifth, outfield Justin Upton, Ethia, Pence, and the tank, Diane Viciedo. It's pretty good. In fact, that's really good. But here's where it gets ugly. Pitching-wise. Your ace is Bumgarner, who we like. After Bumgarner, there's a lot of questions. Samardzij's a question. A lot of upside, but a question. Medlin. Has the league figured him out? If you go by spring numbers, I think they have. But again, it's just spring. Medlin's a big question mark. Can he repeat it? Anibal Sanchez. Here's what he is. Josh Beckett. Wade Davis. You need pitching. If you don't see that you need pitching, you're blind. And I don't think you're blind. You need pitching. Until you make the move to get pitching and stop making out disgusting offers like Tulo and Pence for Kershaw, you're bound to finish 4th. If you're content with that, congratulations. You got to make a move to get pitching. So if there's one thing you get out of my report on your team, got to go to the bullpen. Got to get some pitching. On to third. I got my team slotted at the 3 spot right now. And I'll tell you why. I like my team. My team's balanced. I do think I finish in the money. I think I'm pretty balanced. Bag, speed, average, everything on offense. Pitching, I like my pitching. I don't love it. I do like it, though. Okay, I got Brzezinski and Mauer catcher. Very solid. LaRoche at first, solid. Espinosa, power, speed at second, solid. Zimmerman at third, solid. Castro, solid. Asdrubal Cabrera, solid. Morneau, solid. Hunter, Bourne, Swisher, Holiday, and Braun, solid. Again, now if Braun gets suspended, which hopefully he doesn't, okay, that changes everything. I can slide all the way down. We'll see what happens. Okay. Jackie Bradley, newly acquired. Love him. Think he's going to be a beast. Think Carl Crawford in his early years. My pitching, top half is very good, I think. Hamels, solid. Greinke, solid. Moore, if he gets his walks under control, which it looks like he is, very solid up-and-coming star. I think Moore could be the guy who could be in Cy Young talk, not this year, but next year, but he's going to certainly make that set this year. Then the back end, we'll see what happens. With Bailey, with Burnett, and a former Jay-Z Bang that came home in a trade for an 8th-round pick the other day, Jared Parker, who I think Jared Parker may become the ace of that Oakland staff. So there you have it. My third place finish depends a lot upon certain things that I do as well. Can I slide up to first? I'm not here to finish third. I'm going to let you guys know, you're not first, you're last. My good friend Ricky Bobby just said that. Second place is the first loser. I'm not playing here for third. I'm coming for the money. The top money. Be aware of that, fellas. Sliding in second. There's 2 teams left. You got Mega Pals and JKA. I'm not saying this for any other reason. I think JKA 2 times, 3 times is tough to do. 2 times is tough to do. 3 times is tough to do. I don't see you finishing at first, third yet. Back to back to back, I don't see it. I think I see a very hard-fought second place finish. That's what I see. And you got a really good team. Posey and Perez are catchers. Love them. Edwin Encarnacion first, love him. Weeks, I don't love him. Second base, got Frazier. Okay, waiting for Lowry to come back. I think Frazier will do well. Escobar at short, I think he could do well. I'm not loving him. Got Young, got Craig, newly acquired. I like Alan Craig. Newly acquired Austin Jackson, like him. Cargo in the outfield, like him. Adam Jones, like him. Nelson Cruz, it's okay. Not a big fan. Cespedes, I like him. I think he gets better. Starlin Marte, I think that's a spot you're going to fool around with a lot throughout the year. And then your pitches. I think you're putting a lot of pride into some of your pitches here. You got Kane, who's solid. Gio is solid. Verlander is solid. I think the back end, I think you're putting a lot of stock into Rue, a lot of stock into Zimmerman, and a lot of stock into Fernandez, who's going to be on a limit pitch, okay, with the Marlins. Okay, and you got Teheran. So I think you're going to be all right. I think you're going to fight to the end. I think you and Tony will dog it out. I'm hoping I get in that mix. But I think that's what it's going to be. I think that's the way it's going to play out. I'm not saying it because Tony and I are good friends, but I just think, A, because I saw the work that was put into it last year to build for this year, okay, and I saw the work that's been put in the offseason since I left, but I do have Mega Powers finishing first, ahead of me, ahead of Arbiter, ahead of Gold Tip. I do have it. I look at the team top to bottom, and that's just what I feel. And listen, I'd love to be here saying that I'm going to finish him first. I mean, maybe I will. Okay, injuries play a whole part of this thing. But preseason, these are preseason rankings. They will change as the season goes on. I will do more updates. You tell me a spot where we don't like. Weeders and Rosario, a catcher. Hosmer first. Cano second. Right at third. Ibar short. Cabrera in the middle. Everett Cabrera. Pedro Alvarez at the corner. Okay, McCutcheon, Hayward, Harper, Hamilton. Pretty good outfield right there. Ben Revere is the fifth outfielder. Manny Machado, I think, is going to be a rookie. I guess he had too many bats qualified for rookie this year, but I think Machado's going to be very good. Then look at the pitching. Kershaw, Price, Strasburg. It's pretty good. Some questions at the back end with Cahill, okay, with Harrison, who got lit up last night, and Hellickson. But I think those guys are keeping certain spots warm for Dylan Bundy and Zach Wheeler, who I think Zach Wheeler is going to be an absolute beast. I'm not just saying as a Met fan, I just believe he's going to be a beast. Listen, I think those two teams, Arbiter's team and Tony's team, will fight out. I think that will be a dogfight. Okay, I'm going to try and sneak in that dogfight. Andy, if you want to try and get in that dogfight, you got to get pitching. I even think you're going to need pitching just to hold on to the 4th spot. You got a ton of offense. Trade some of it. Go get some pitching. Again, preseason rankings, anything can happen. Just my opinion. They will change because you'll hear this change. I got this list right here I wrote down. I'm going to keep it in my drawer. And then each week, we'll go up, down. Who's climbing? Who's falling? We're going to go over. Fellas, baseball season's here. This is what we've been waiting for. 2013 East End Baseball League. This is what it's all about. Pick up that phone. Let's make some deals. As my friend Monty Hall used to say, let's make a deal. I'm Hal Rogner. This is the East End Baseball League. It's 2013. It's opening pitch. Time to be mindful of the Mets who can finish them first. Yeah, right. But you got to have hope. You got to have a dream. You got to believe. 2013, guys. Who's taking home the trophy? Who's going to sip from Lord Stanley's cup? We're going to find out right now. First pitch is on the way. Opening day is here. 2013 East End Baseball League. I'm Hal Roden. I'm your host. And here's my sign-off. Be gone!